Today we're making 3 versions of General Tso Chicken from 3 of YouTube's most popular chefs. But today we're gonna push that affection deep within the wrinkles of our brains and pit them against each other to see which channel makes the best General Tso Chicken on YouTube. Now, I've chosen 3 distinctly different General Tso Chicken just to kind of keep the video a little more interesting, a little more engaging, have some differentiation. And I know everybody has an opinion on this dish, so don't forget to leave yours in the comments. Stick up for what you like. Be brave. And stick around until the end because regardless of who wins, we're gonna take the best components from each of these recipes today to fuse together the ultimate General Tso Chicken. Tso. I like that, Tso. Let us begin. There are a couple different moving pieces with General Tso's chicken, right? You have the sauce and the chicken. The chicken involves the marinade and the breading, in the frying, you know, and the sauce includes basically mixing things together and cooking and kind of finishing the chicken. So yeah, each recipe sort of has, you know, both of those things kind of going on, all those pieces going on. So just keep that in mind as we make this stuff. There's no possible way that you could have opened YouTube and not seen one of Andrew Ray, AKA Binging with Babish, AKA Babish Culinary Universe's videos. Yes, the branding has changed over the years, but the videos have stayed much the same. This guy really helped define what modern cooking YouTube videos even look like, right? Mixing humor with dry sarcasm and really clean visuals. He's not a trained chef and never has really pretended to be, which is kind of the whole point. He approaches recipes with curiosity and is always quick to tell you when something went sideways, which we love. We love the honesty. Watching Babish cook is less like watching a professional chef cook and more like cooking next to your buddy. But can the man make good General Tso's chicken? Let us find out. Just a quick little note here before we get going. Babish's recipe is, he says it's inspired by Kenji Lopez Alt's recipe here, which is another YouTube culinary god. Let us begin. So Babish uses chicken thighs, which I love and appreciate because I think they're juicier, they're more chickeny, more flavorful, and mostly what you're gonna get with Chinese takeout, right? Nice, meaty little chunks here, cut just like he did in the video, and I did that off camera, so you don't have to watch me manhandle raw chicken. Let's mix our marinade. Into a bowl, we got our egg whites, soy sauce, Chinese cooking wine, vodka, a little bit of baking soda, and cornstarch. Yep. We're just gonna whisk that up till it's super smooth. It's interesting, he mixes the cornstarch right in here. When making a slurry, it would make it a little smoother, I think. But cool. Now I'm just gonna siphon some of this marinade off here for a later use. You'll see why in a sec. And this goes on our chicken. Just gonna make sure that all of our chicken is coated in this wonderful marinade. It's looking like caramel. Looking good to me. So this is gonna go in the fridge for about 20 minutes to let those flavors meld and allow that baking soda to kind of break down our chicken and make it more tender. We'll talk about that later. Breading time. Now for Bibi's breading, we're gonna go with some all-purpose flour, cornstarch, baking soda, pinch of kosher salt, and some of that reserved marinade, which is gonna help clump things together. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just kind of hand it, mix everything together. You can see we got these kind of nice clumps in here, which is gonna give our chicken a nice craggly texture. We love that. It's gonna be like mini KFC drumsticks. I feel like this has become a really popular technique over the past 5 to 10 years, especially on YouTube. You know, people just kind of borrowing from each other, but restaurants have been doing this for a long time. Essentially, you're just kind of speeding up the process. This would happen otherwise. You're dredging a lot of chicken. Naturally, that batter or the dredge or the wet coating on the outside of the chicken will get into your dry mixture. By doing this, we're speeding that process along so that we get those like kind of little like crunchy bits that stick to the chicken, giving them that sort of craggly texture that we all know and love and associate with fried chicken. Remember, General Tso Chicken, baby. It's fried chicken with a sauce. All right, Babish's sauce. We got dark soy, Shaoxing cooking wine, rice wine vina, sesame oil of the roasted variety, chicken stock, a little bit of shugs, and some cornstarch. We'll just give that all a whisk. It's again, man, with the starch straight in the sauce like that. Crazy move, dude. Oh, did I get sauce all over my shirt? If you've spent any time on FoodTube, you've definitely run into Brian Lagerstrom. Brian's actually found his way into a handful of these YouTube cooking challenges here, and he's actually walked away with a couple of medals, so he's a contender. This lad is a trained chef who's built a massive following breaking down restaurant techniques in a way that actually works for home cooks, without sort of making you feel like you need years of experience on the line. His videos are clear, practical, and thought through, and there's a real focus behind the why for each step. So when Brian takes on General Tso's chicken, it's precise, it's balanced, and clearly tested more than one time. But is it any good? Let's find out. Brian's chicken. He uses chicken breast, an interesting play. He says he likes it because you can get cleaner, big chunks out of it compared to chicken thighs, which I could agree with that. Other than the marinade, Brian uses one of these guys to tenderize the chicken. This is called a jacquard tenderizer. Jacquard, jacquard. It's, you spell it like this. I think I just broke it. Which is fine, because I actually went ahead and already jacquard tenderized this here chickie. Now, by poking tons and tons of little holes in the chicken, which, by the way, you can also do with a fork, it actually manually tenderizes the chicken and allows the marinade to permeate further into the meat. It's a nifty little trick when you're working with cuts that maybe you'd want to be a little more tender, like a chuck roast steak. Hit it with a jacquard, marinate it with some acid, something that's really, you know, break down the muscle proteins and the fibers. Grill that and really hard and fast. If you were to marinate it and jacquard it, it might not turn out tender, it might be a little chewy. So chicken breast, obviously already extremely tender. So what this does is just make it that much more tender. So in theory, these should straight up just break on your tooth. Let's marinate. In with the chicken breast goes some soy, mirin, potato starch, baking soda, and of course, a little bit of the GP, the God particle, aka MSG. This is a very fast way to get to the core of my cold heart. I'm actually just gonna mix that up by hand. A little easier. Make sure all that starch is nice and dissolved in. Nice. All right, we're gonna cover that up and let it sit in the fridge for 20 minutes, which is the perfect time to get going on the next step. For Brian's dredge, we're gonna go with all-purpose flour, potato starch, just a little bit of garlic powder, baking powder, and a little bit of salt for good measure. Just gonna kind of whisk that together with a fork. Just kind of make sure everything's incorporated, the salt's worked in, the potato starch is broken up. All right, beautiful. For Brian's General Tso, he makes a batter. And like we mentioned, he uses his noodle for his recipe. So he took the dry ingredients, aka what we just did for our dredge, and takes a portion of that to make the batter, so you're not measuring out a bunch of different things at different times. So that's what we're gonna do now. On our scale, we're gonna measure in 250 grams of our dry. And to that, add in some agua. Until nice and smooth. Looking smooth to me. The original dredge bowl, I'm gonna put this in here because I need a bigger bowl. All right, now he's gonna do it to us again with the scale. We're gonna measure in 200 grams of this batter to the dry. Beautiful. Now we're doing the exact same thing that we did with Babish's recipe here, right? We're making our craggles. Just gonna go in here with my hands, just really make sure this is separated. It's almost looking like a dough, it's kind of crazy. You should have something that looks like this, right? Little particles, little coarse sand chunks with rocks in it, if you will. I don't know. These are gonna be the little crispy bombs that stick to the chicken and make them extra craggly and crunchy and glorious looking. So we got our batter, we got our dredge. Now we gotta make sauce. Okay, Bry Guys sauce. Into a bowl, we got soy sauce, sesame oil, rice wine vinegar, mirin, brown sugar, white sugar, a smidge of sambal, same beat with the ketchup, and cornstarch. And of course, another little extra pinch of the GP for good measure, maybe two of those. Now we challenge ourselves by whisking this without getting it all over the kitchen and on the cutting board. It's a nice color, looks like Brian's. Go figure. And by the way, if you guys are fans of the God Particle MSG, I made shirts, check it out. Look at that, Omnivorous on the front and MSG with the Skater S. I also have a couple other different t-shirts over there. It's all over on the store. All of the purchases that you make go directly to helping the channel and helping me continue to make videos. So if you want to peep that, I'll leave links below. You can go to adamwitt.store. Yeah. Cool. All right, Brian's chickie. That's what it looks like. Oh, nice. Okay, yep, looking good, looking glossy. Looking a little strange, a little denatured, if you will. Yeah, this is ready to go. Okay, so we got our batter and our dredge here and our chicken. So I'm gonna do what Brian does and pour in about 1/3 of the chicken right in the batter. I'm just gonna kind of lightly toss these just to make sure that the marinade doesn't fully come off the chicken. And then we're gonna take these and plop them in the dry. Now we'll do as Brian does and gently fluff our chickie. So I'm coming from the bottom, I'm gonna cradle that chickie, not trying to be cheeky. You know, we wanna be gentle with this so it kind of really takes on this craggly dust. Once we're coated here, I'm gonna take some of this extra dust, use my hands to pop it on there. See what I mean here? Look at that. You have those lumps of the hydrated flour starch mixture on the chicken. It's really gonna make for a nice, you know, grocery store fried chicken-esque piece. No hate there, by the way. Some of the best fried chicken comes out of grocery stores in my experience. So now these pieces of chicken need to go right in the fridge for about 20 to 30 minutes so that this dredge can fully adhere to the chicken so it doesn't fall off when we try to fry. An excellent pointer from Brian. We have a brand new chef feature in this series today, and the channel goes by the name of Made with Lau. Made with Lau is a family-run YouTube channel. It focuses on Cantonese home cooking taught by a Chinese chef who's been in the business for 50 years. Randy Lau and his dad, the chef, along with the rest of the family, are sort of a tag team that tell incredible stories about history, life, struggle, and success of the immigrant experience. Whether these guys win or lose the competition, I doubt they care very much because they are decorated. They've been featured on CNN, Today, New York Times, and the craziest thing is they've actually won not one, but 2 James Beard Awards as a YouTube channel. Incredible stuff. Bravo. I mean, it's legit. I've had the pleasure of meeting Randy very briefly a couple years back. He's a super sweet, nice dude. Go check their channel out if you haven't. But now we gotta answer the question, can these guys make General Tso's chicken? Let's marinate Lau's chicken. And we're reaching for, again, surprisingly, the chicken breast. He mentioned something in his video about this being the, healthier option, and he chose it because of that, so yeah. The marinade consists of cornstarch, salt, water, and see how this goes, half an egg whisked up. All right, we're just gonna slop this around, coat it in that egg and the starch here. Ooh, this could be a cool opportunity to talk about the egg. Made with Lau keeps it really simple. He's the Chinese chef with 50 years of experience, so he might be onto something here. But I'm gonna see if I can remember this. A long time ago, I read about something that Chinese restaurants do called velveting. It's essentially taking like egg whites and adding it to the marinade so that thin layer of protein kind of like coats the outside of the, whether it be pork, beef, or chicken. And then after that, once it's coated in marinade, sits for a little bit, you kind of like blanch it in hot oil or hot water to kind of like set that egg white on the protein. I think there's something to do there with either raising or lowering the pH of the meat too, using egg whites, which helps to tenderize it. I should have probably looked this up, but if you're interested, velveting is a pretty cool technique, and I think that's what's going on here. So, just disseminating wrong information on the internet. Let's go. That's what half of YouTube is, man. But we're not trying to do that. No. Not here, not on this chan. Lau's sauce. We're starting off in a bowl with light soy, dark soy, sesame oil, there's a pattern here, vinegar, little ketchup, not too much, white shugs, white pepper, cornstarch, and agua. You know the drill. We whisk this up. I want to see all that starch disappeared. Beautiful. Love the white pepper. All right, made with Lau's batter. I ran out of glass bowls, so kitty. For the batter, we got all-purpose flour, cornstarch, baking powder, the other half of our egg, olive oil, and enough water to make a good batter. We'll start there. The olive oil is a trick that I guess makes the chicken shinier, according to Made with Lau. All right, so that's a little runny to me. I'm gonna add a little more flour in. Went a little aggro with the water. Let's see where this gets us. All right, that's looking a lot better. A thin batter. And the cool part about this is we can take this batter and just pour it right on our chicken, so no messy breading situation. Gotta love that. That's points, you know? Not actually, but it's pretty great. All right, we're just gonna mix that around, make sure the chicken is coated in the batter. Perfect, this is ready to go in the fryer. All right, Babish's chicken. Looking like chicken. It's looking glossy and delicious. I like how dark this looks. It's time that we coat. And Babish's chicken, once it's coated, is ready to go right in the fryer, straight out the gate. The sauces are made, the meat's been marinated, coated. It's finally TTF. Time to fry. We're gonna start with Lau. Don't do that, guys. We're doing this one at a time here to avoid them from caking together. All right, here we got Brian's, ready to go. Nice and dried out, feeling kind of tacky to the touch. Let's fry them up. All right, I don't think this is cheating because we're about to hit these with a ton of sauce and a lot of that texture is gonna kind of get lost a little bit. I mean, like ideally it doesn't, but let's just do a little crunch test here. Babish. Lau. Delicate. Brian. So it looks like every one of our chefs has a uniquely delicious type of fried chicken for their General Tso, and we are officially done frying. I'm definitely gonna break out in more spots than one. Lots of oil. Anyways, I think it's finally TTF. I already said TTF. TTF asterisk. Okay, time to finish. It's only 2:30, brother. Medium high heat. High-sided saute pan. We're going in with some neutral oil. Then we'll rock in some scallions, garlic, ginger, arbol chilies. Just gonna stir that around for a second, wake up those aromats. And now we can pour in our sauce that will pretty much thicken on contact because of that starch. This is what I mean. Look at this. Gloss town. You can cut the heat. It's looking Tso-like. Now it's in with all of our chicken. Hell yeah. This is gonna look real nice. Ooh yeah. Just like that dark, glossy glory all over that crispy fried chicken. Gorgeous, just gorgeous. For Brian's General Tso, high heat, wok. Going in with some neutral oil, followed by our scallions. We're not gonna wipe this out. We're just gonna pop in our scallions. All right, we're gonna stir fry those a bit. It's starting to smell nice. Then it's in with our arbol chilies. This happens very quickly, guys, like all stir fries, of course. Ginger paste and garlic paste. Now we're gonna pop in our sauce on the rim of the wok. Very nice. All right, we wanna reduce this just a smidge here, about 15 to 20% according to Brian. All right, that's looking good to me. We're gonna cut the heat. It's leaving a nice trail here. In with the chicken. I'm just gonna kind of coat this chicken with the bubbly sauce for a little bit. Brian kind of wants that textural variation here with some super crunchy pieces and others kind of like sopped up and gooey. Looks like we have the perfect amount of sauce here for how much chicken we have. Beautiful. All right, that's donezo. All right, made with Lau, high heat, big ol' wok. Neutral oil in, a little more. We're gonna toast these chilies. Then it's in with our gingy, garlic. Stir that around for a second. Now we can add in our sauce. And we're just gonna thicken it a little bit with a cornstarch slurry. You could use as much or as little as you'd like. Stir that. Then finally, we got our red bell pepper and a smidge of sesame oil. Wow, look how glossy and beautiful this is. Then finally, we can add in all our chicken and toss that around. Woo. Oh yeah, love the bell pepper in here. Beautiful. Okay, the time is officially upon us. It is TTT, time to taste. Before we judge, we gotta taste. I'm gonna go pink bunnies. Ooh, panda is tempting, but no, pink bunnies it is. Let's start with Babish. I love the presentation here. We got the bed of rice and the really dark General Tso compared to the other stuff. So here we go. That dark meat, real nice. I'm gonna not eat the chilies until the end as to spare and keep my palate. Wonderful. That's really good. I really like that dark color on there. It looks nice. All right, moving on. We got Brian Lagerstroms. This looks crazy, man. These look like, not even like Korean fried chicken or Asian fried chicken, just like really well done, like KFC nuggets or something. I don't even know if they have those. All right.
America, Kentucky Fried Chicken wants you to know your nugget.
Cheers. I'm not sure if you can hear that. That's crunchy. That has been sitting for probably, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes in its own sauce, and it still has that crunch to it. This had a bit of crunch too. That's more crunchy texturally. Sauce, classic, standard, looks really nice on the chicken. All right, last but not least, made with Lau. Made with love by Lau. I love the broccoli crown. Super retro, super awesome. The touch with the red bell peppers, of course, is welcome as well. The flavor, the look, everything about it. All right, let's see how these. Man, the bell pepper really leaches into the sauce and really does impart its flavor. Like, I didn't even eat a bell pepper and you can taste it really nicely. It's really good. I think toasting the arbol of chilies in the oil before adding the other aromatics really helps infuse and impart that spice, that capsaicin into the oil. And it definitely has a little more heat than the other two, which I like. These are all pretty damn good. I know it's a cop-out thing to say, but I don't know. I guess there's a lot of ways you can go wrong, but these guys, they all came to play today. All right, I gotta think about this one. All right, guys, we gotta rate these things 1 through 3, first, second, third place, the gold, the silver, the bronze. We're gonna start with the bronze here, which was not an easy decision to make. Matter of fact, I'm like still thinking about it, so I better just like spit it out and like end this internal struggle in my brain before I get an aneurysm. Okay, so yeah, the bronze, third place. I think you guys know which one it is. It's gonna have to be binging with Babish. Your chicken was delicious. I love the color, maybe the most on the board. I'm not sure it's the most like General Tso, but the dark, almost like lacquer barbecue sauce color like really gets me. But it wasn't that spicy, and I'd like my General Tso chicken a little spicy. When you're talking about texture, this one's probably the most akin to like a classic Southern fried chicken. It's kind of got that light, delicate, but still in some parts crunchy texture to it. Didn't fall flat, but not the strongest on the board. Presentation, incredible. I love the rice. I love the scallions. The pepper sticking out looks appetizing as heck. But compared to the other ones on the board, it was probably my least favorite. However, I would still muck this any day of the week, sitting alone in a dark room near a fireplace. Third place, binging with Babish. Okay, we gotta move on to the silver, which kind of lets you know who the gold is, but we gotta start with the silver. Second place, we got Made with Lau. Made with Lau, man. Made with love by Lau. This surprised me because I definitely thought it was gonna come in third, just judging by looking at the crispiness as I fried it. Usually when it doesn't have a dry like dredge before the batter, it tends to just kind of like flake and fall off and steam off the chicken. This, however, after the second fry, got much crispier than I thought it was gonna be. A delicate crust that I didn't think would stand up to the sauce too much, but instead what it does is it kind of absorbs the sauce really, really well. The sauce is the perfect spice level. I think it's because we infused the oil with the peppers, and these peppers, man, surprisingly go a long way. It's a really good flavor and it's really strong. The pepper flavor is really strong in here. If I was giving the award based on presentation, I think that would take the gold though. The Papa Lau, man. Whoo! That man definitely knows what he's doing. Which means in first place, give it up. I guess he's done it again. Brian Lagerstrom and his General Tso Chicken. Woo, 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 woo. Go, 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 go. Brian wins the chicken competition. Go, go. Yes! Sorry about that, Dad. What this comes down to is straight up the texture. This chicken, man, compared to the other two on the board today, was the king. It has that batter, it has those crispy crunchities, and it's so damn perfectly dredged. The design of the outer shell that he developed for this recipe is incredible. We did it with Babish's as well. The mixing in of the batter to the flour, I think just created more crisper bombs that hit your tooth and just sort of shatter and explode and lend this insanely crispy, crunchy texture. So between the batter, the starch, and the dredge, the chicken was incredible. The sauce, really nice too. To me, this color, of course, these two are like very similar, but this color right here is the quintessential sort of like original General Tso color. He doesn't really go crazy. He doesn't serve it on or with anything. He doesn't garnish it. So I think he kind of leaves it open to interpretation. But if this was my favorite sauce, this is my favorite chicken, and the sauce is really, really, really close to being my second or my favorite. But I mean, that texture on the chicken just really just... First place, Brian Lagerstrom. I think he has a gold or 2 or 3, I don't know, under his belt, but clearly this man knows what he's doing here. A lot of thought, energy, and time went into developing this, and you can tell, you can taste, it is good. So give it up for Brian, guy. Congratulations. You've done it again. Awesome. I've eaten so much of this off camera. I'm going to turn into a massive nugget. A crispy nug dunked in sauce, dude. Just dunk me in the sauce, dude. Cool, great, awesome. Now it is time. We are going to take the best elements from each of our 3 recipes today to fuse together the ultimate General Tso Chicken. It's been a long day. Ta-da! There's nothing like a soft, soggy piece of broccoli, dude. Come here! I got so much! You can't take a bite of my towel? One more stop for the road. Thanks for watching until the end, guys. Like the video if you liked it. Sub to the channel if you're new to the channel. If you're not new to the channel, welcome back. Best way to support is over on the Grocery Fund, aka the Patreon, and or cop some merch. Got a bunch of cool designs over on the store. That's adamwitt.com/store. I'll leave links below. All the proceeds, of course, go to, you know, helping me do this forever. Forever video make you and me. Thank you. Come say what's good in Discord. We're cool and chatting. Having a grand old time over there. I do giveaways and contests and stuff like that, so come introduce yourself. If you have a favorite creator, parentheses S, let me know in the comments. Also, let me know what dish you'd like to see me make of theirs. Let me know where you like to get your General Tso Chicken to. What's your favorite restaurant? That is all I got for you this time, so until next we meet. Adios. That's Chinese for goodbye. That's Mandarin for goodbye, actually. Oh my god, what am I doing with my life?